6, the new year, to order. The first item of business that we had a closed session, before this meeting, discuss a, real estate matter. We instructed staff to proceed on course, to bring us back more information for next month. Okay, so next thing is, a moment of silence. I'd like to have a moment of silence for, we lost a resident here, Sally Pike. And I don't know if many people remember her, but her and her husband Chuck Pike were residents here, and Chuck was an avid person down on the same pier where he and the folks there solved all of Topsail Beach problems every afternoon. And so, if you would, Sally's passing, but keep Chuck and his daughter Caitlin in your thoughts. So let's have a moment of silence, if you will. Thank you. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have come to public comment.
Rob Grossman.
Rob?
Good evening, Commissioner. I'm here as a citizen of Topsail Beach to express my concern that Commissioner Nancy Thomason retains a position on the Board of Adjustment that I feel is a clear conflict of interest. Several years ago, the commissioners decided that commissioners would not sit on the committee as they have a vested interest in recruiting and voting for the town. Ms. Thomason remains on the Board of Adjustment. The standard for conflict is not only an actual conflict of interest, but it's a mere appearance of a conflict of interest. And I don't feel that people who would be litigating their matters against the town of Topsail Beach would feel that there's not an appearance, that there is an appearance of conflict of interest with Ms. Thomason sitting on the board. When I brought this up with her in an email over the summer, she ignored it and did not respond to me. When I followed up with your attorney, Mr. Coggins, he simply said it's not illegal. So being illegal or presenting a conflict of interest, two completely different things. However, to take it a step further, when I first met with Ms. Nancy Thomason as the chairman of the Board of Adjustment at that time, I got to meet with all of the members, just as social greetings. And I explained how close the Board of Adjustment was to hearing the matter of the Olson family trying to take over the Serenity Point compound. I brought that out, and I said it was going to be a very contested trial. Ms. Thomason said to me that she didn't care what evidence was presented at that trial. She would always root and vote for Topsail Beach, and it made no difference what evidence would be presented. I would certainly sign an affidavit to that effect. The Board of Adjustment has not had a trial since then, but I certainly plan to bring it up if there was a trial during that time, because for a commissioner to take an oath that they would be fair and impartial of the Board of Adjustment, but then say to me that the evidence would be completely irrelevant, there's no way she would not vote for Topsail Beach, leads me as a citizen of this town to be concerned that Ms. Thomason is on this committee and it was within her character to completely ignore the email I sent pointing these things out. However, I come to the Board of Commissioners to present that I, as a resident of concern, having someone on the Board of Adjustment who has made such statements, puts the Board of Adjustment in jeopardy for fairness, and that puts the citizens of the town in jeopardy of the town being sued which would cost the town, which would cost our taxpayers money to have to defend such a suit. So I bring that to your attention tonight, because I feel that it would be unfair. And if Ms. Thomason remains on the Board of Adjustment, it would be my intention to appear at all Board of Adjustment trials from here on and let the litigants know that there is somebody sitting on the board who has actually said that they would not even care what the evidence is, that their alliance would always be with Topsail Beach. That was even before she was now a paid employee of the town of Topsail Beach. So I wanted to bring that to your attention, as I feel that that is just unfair. I feel Ms. Thomason should resign from the Board of Adjustment, just as all the other commissioners, such as Mr. Gunther did, when the commissioners decided that it would be an improper appearance for commissioners to sit on the committees within the town of Topsail Beach. That's all. I thank you very much for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you for your comments.
I can say something.
Let's not go. If I would, I'd like to insert the manager and the attorney to let's discuss this matter. And, I guess, Mr. Grossman, are you gonna file a formal complaint to the town?
I'm just gonna wait and see, Mayor, to see if Ms. Thomason feels that this is a conflict of interest, and if she does tender a resignation, if she chooses to remain on the board and what I feel is a complete is a conflict of interest that puts our citizens in jeopardy of having to defend a lawsuit, I'll explore what options I have at that point.
Okay, all right, thanks. So let's move along those lines to discuss it. And you need to be involved now.
Can I say something?
Only if you signed up for if it's a comment, I don't want to get into an arguing match about.
No.
anything like that. So if it's something that's.
No, I have not signed up, so
Okay.
I won't say.
Okay. That's, okay, let's go to, the mayor's minute. There are a couple of items, tonight. The first is a proclamation. And, when I first got the proclamation, I was wondering if I should wear a top hat and all that, because this is kind of a unique situation. And, it's fairly lengthy, so bear with me. This is confirming the proclamation declaring February 21st, 2026 as Colonial Topsail Day. Whereas on February the 27th, 1776, just past couple of weeks, in the early dawn hours near Moores Creek, North Carolina patriots, Minutemen and militia confronted and defeated a larger loyalist force that would mark the first decisive patriot victory of the American Revolution in North Carolina. Whereas the Battle of Moores Creek Bridge marked the end of the royal authority over North Carolina, inspired widespread support for the patriot cause, and led directly to North Carolina's adoption of the Halifax Resolves, the first official call for independence among the colonies. And whereas the historic victory secured through the courage of average citizens of North Carolina shaped the future of both North Carolina and the nation, laying the foundation for the ideals of independence, steadfastness, and freedom that define the American spirit. And whereas 8 southeastern North Carolina counties have coordinated the First in Freedom Festival to be celebrated on February 21st through 28th, 2026, to commemorate America's 250th anniversary and the 250th anniversary of the significant battle of Moores Creek Bridge. And whereas the Historic Society of Topsail Island, located in Topsail Beach, has been instrumental in planning the America 250th anniversary and the First in Freedom Festival. The Historic Society of Topsail Island is commemorating these events with an original family event, Colonial Topsail, to bring awareness of the American 250th anniversary with visiting reenactors, guest speakers, and children activities. Whereas the Historic Society of Topsail Island, Colonial Topsail Island event is the First in Freedom Festival kickoff event in Pender County Now therefore, I, Frank Braxton, Mayor of Topsail Beach, on behalf of the Town of Topsail Beach Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim February 21st, 2026, Colonial Topsail Day, to honor the memory of those who fought for independence and freedom. I encourage all citizens to participate in the 250th anniversary observances and to reflect upon the enduring ideals that continue to define us as a people. Proclaim this day, 14th of January, 2026. I think it's pretty unique that we've, as a country, gotten that far. And you know, we read about it in history, and all of a sudden we get to see a lot of it in our Pender County at Morris Creek. I don't know if many people have been there, but it's fairly unique. It's something different. It's a nice little part they've done. The next item is a little more of a, I want to show y'all what you own. And I think we've gone through the last year, mainly, and the year before, and we talked about the EOC Center. And everybody said, well, where is it? What is it? And it's an Emergency Operations Center. And so I put together a little slides, PowerPoint. It kind of brings you through the center. So we actually see what we bought. And I want to reference all this, that this whole facility and everything that you're going to see, there's been no tax dollars involved in it. It was done through a state allocation. And so we used it wisely. I think we've got a really good facility. And if any of you have or have participated in some of our past hurricanes, staying at the Moose Lodge was an event. So anything was better. And I think the state felt sorry for us, to be honest. So let's get going. The content, introduction to the site. During Hurricane Florence, I think everybody knows the storm came and set above us for a good week and just dumped, 3 feet or more of water on us. And no one was able to go anywhere. So we couldn't get on the island. We had to stay all, and the Moose Lodge was home. And it was not the best place to stay. It could be better.
Although we are grateful for it.
We're grateful. We are. It was dry. Welcome. And keep in mind that all of our equipment and trucks and things had to stay outside. So that was one of the things that in a storm like Florence or any other storm that we've had, the equipment, if it's out in the weather, it takes a beating, and that's expensive equipment. So we received a grant from the state to secure the state, emergency operations facility in 2021. We purchased the mainland site, which is a 7.2 acre site, and just off the mainland, and it existed or had 2 structures there. It was used mainly for boat repair, car repair, things of that nature. These were mainly metal building types. Building 1, it's about 11,000 square foot building that allows for 4,000 square feet of administration and 7,000 square feet of warehouse. The finished administration area consists of a gathering area, bunk office rooms, conference rooms, kitchen, and full bathrooms, and it's dry. And the warehouse, go to the next one. This shows the condition space. This kind of the overall shot that include that we did renovate the building. If you saw it before we started, it was just an empty structure. So we renovated the building to include new lighting, HVAC, fire sprinkler system, and fireproofing. And this is just a shot of off to the right of the picture is the bunk rooms. They're closed off to add a little bit of privacy and quietness instead of just an open air area. Upstairs is, I think, the conference room. In the very back is a gathering spot, and off to the left is the kitchen. So this is our gathering space, and it's kind of nice. It's a lot nicer. And if you'll notice any of the furniture there, you've seen it before. It came from the side of the road. So done a great job of, bringing things forward, using everything. So if you have anything you wanna discard, put it out on the road and we'll check it out. So we do, have one TV screen there and I think there's a main chair and the bear gets the remote. The perks of being there. Now we have the bunk room for, these are kind of sparse as indicated. We're doing the best we can there to go out and buying furniture. But this is, adequate for what we need because normally when we're in a situation like this, rest comes when you can get it. So you find a quiet spot and a bed and you're done. Next one is, where we've added a desk in the bunk room, so we have a bunk in office. So, time doesn't stop and our business continues in the storm, especially in Florence, when we were there for about a week or so. Bills lined it up, had to keep going. So then we have a conference room that we built, that's the upstairs area. You're looking for a table, so if anyone's got a nice conference room table, we're on the side of the road, we'll get it. So, but we really need that for coordinating the events and to keep everybody updated as to where we are in the storm, if we are in a storm situation. And then the last is our kitchen. And the only thing I can say is God bless the cook. But, really, the kitchen is the hot spot. Yeah, we don't know who's going to cook. But I heard you. So, but this is probably the luxury part of the whole facility. We do have a nice kitchen, or a nice kitchen, yes, to cook meals and keep us fed and nourished. Then still in building one, we've got warehouse space. And that's predominant of this, and we need a place to bring the fire trucks, the police cars, the fire equipment, just everything that we have sitting out or in housing now. We can't leave on the island because we don't know if it's going to be here when we get back. So we need to take it off the island. And the next slide shows another bay. And in those bays, this particular building had a total of 8 12 by 14 roll-up doors. And that's critical for when you're trying to move equipment in and out of a building and having access to it and enough space to do it. Building 2, didn't have to do a whole lot to that one. It's 2,100 square feet. It's a non-finished structure and going to be used for storage only. Yeah, I think we did it. That's the storage there. It's not finished. It is what it is. Not heated. We did improve some of the lighting, but it does fulfill the needs of those. On the day in building 2. Again, a 10 by 14 roll-up door on that one that we are able to get equipment in and out. And even in today's operation where we're seasonal, we still have that area that we can take equipment and instead of leaving it on the island when it's not in use, we can take it there. And in addition to the buildings, there's a nice yard, storage yard. So we can use that for laydown if we're buying equipment or buying materials and don't have a place on the island to place it or put it. So that's another advantage of the site. So it's well used and good. I hope we never use it, to be honest, but it's there and it didn't cost us a dime. So thank you. I just want to let you know what you own.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to mention that this past week I actually took a tour of the EOC with Tom and Alex, and the pictures don't do it justice. It looks a lot better now. The floors have been redone. Again, nothing out of the taxpayers' money was for that. That was all through the money that was given to us. But Tom's done a good job cleaning things up, and like all the Christmas decorations are just stored and in alignment and off the island where we have limited storage. So thank you, Tom and Alex, for that tour.
Good job for staff for getting us in there.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
just want to say that was 1,666,000 and 950,000 of that was the actual property that we bought with those buildings that were sitting on there. The rest of the money were used for just what Mr. Mayor just said, where we did refinish the floors. And so every dime of that money has been spent, and that was state money. not taxpayers' money. It was Session Law 2019-75.
Okay, approval of the regular agenda. We have some changes on the agenda. First off, we'd like to have, the tower lots that we're looking at across the street as to what we've made these bids for. And I'd like to put that under, this update on the public safety building, so number 12A.
Mayor, if I could also add approval of a memorandum of understanding between Holly Ridge and Topsail Beach for inspection services to the agenda. Maybe we could do 14A.
Okay.
If that's okay.
So we have a, excuse me, agenda with additions. Anything else?
Recommendations that Christina just mentioned.
Yeah. A motion to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Conflict of interest. Start time with Alex.
Yeah.
Approval of the consent agenda.
Accept the consent agenda.
Second. A motion to second to accept. All in favor? Okay, public hearing none. We're good here. Presentation of the America 250th anniversary.
Mayor, town commissioners, and fellow residents, Happy New Year. I am Ann Tumlin. I live at 1111 North Anderson, and I'm secretary of the Historical Society of Topsail Island. I guess we've already talked about it a lot today. Our group received a grant from 250 North Carolina to develop 2 movable historic displays to travel to our local schools, accompanied by lesson plans, so that our students can learn more about our local history. We will be unveiling these at our Colonial Topsail Day on February 21st from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Assembly Building. This event is also part of the First and Freedom Festival sponsored by Morris Creek National Battleground. The First and Freedom Festival was developed to increase tourism in the 8 southeastern counties in North Carolina. Each county will be blanketed with booklets highlighting historical sites in this area. The booklets will encourage people to visit these sites and get their passports stamped. This activity will be continuing throughout 2026. We expect it to increase visitation to our museum, which means more tourism in our town. We thank you for your support in approving our application for this special event. The North Carolina DOT gave us permission to close Channel Boulevard just between our parking lot and the Assembly Building for that afternoon. As you can see, we have a great variety of colonial-styled activities planned for this free, family-friendly festival. We hope everyone can join in and maybe even participate in a hoop race down the street. Any questions?
Yeah, what's the loop right?
Do you remember?
You should do that. Okay. And thank you for your proclamation.
Anyone have any discussion, comment? Thank you. Best of luck. Yeah. Okay. Update for Parks and Recreation.
I'm right here. I can't wait to talk to you. I'm Cindy Avery, and I'm the chair of the Parks and Rec Board. And we had a good meeting last week with our two new members, and we closed the circle on months of research into the need for new playground equipment. And we voted unanimously to recommend that. So we look very much forward to discussing this with you in your budget meeting coming in the month. And I figure that's the time to really get into it, but we will be coming forth with a capital improvement project for you to consider.
Good timing. We're starting to move into the budget. Any board staff, any board report.
Planning board met December 17th for their regular monthly meeting. The board adopted their 2026 meeting date. Their next meeting is scheduled for January 28th at 10 a.m.
Good job. That's all we need. That was about as long as the meeting. Yeah, it is.
We're gonna pipe William in, so he.
Our meeting was a little bit longer. Our meeting was a little bit longer than the planning board's. William Snyder, apologizes for not being here. He unfortunately is in Mexico having to surf in Mexico. But he was very upset about missing this meeting.
He sent pictures of beach nourishment. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, a backup on the beach pushing sand. That's the Mexican way of doing it.
He's researching.
Yes. And Chris, actually, Chris Gibson volunteered to go down there and give them tell them how to do it, or, give them a report on it. Of course, with expenses paid, but, apparently they didn't take him up on that. Okay, our last meeting was December the 18th, and under the category of if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it, we re-elected, William Snyder, as our chairman, and Jay Litcher as our vice chairman. I think we reported last time that we have developed or created a water management task team from the BIS committee to look into our stormwater runoff problems that we have. And Tom Hendrick, I think we already talked about this, did a fantastic job of, there's been several studies made on this over the years, but nobody's ever combined them, to really look at, what's going on. And it's fascinating that we've got a lot more information now. We might actually be able to come up with some solutions that, on some of them, that don't cost a whole lot of money, which is what we're hoping to do. Let's see. That's pretty much it, except that, I guess the people, the people on the management team are myself, Peter Knowles, William Snyder, Tom Hendrick, and James Litcher serving as an alternate. Our next meeting will be on January 28th, and will include an on-site review of the identified problem areas. I think that meeting has been changed, hasn't it, Rochelle?
Not for your task meeting.
Oh, the task meeting.
Yes, BIS has been canceled for tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
Question to you.
Sure.
You mentioned that the task force is looking at stormwater issues. Are they also looking at king tide issues?
Supposed to be king tide, not stormwater.
Yeah.
They're looking at flooding area.
Yeah,
Flooding.
Basically,
Okay.
you got
That's what.
two things that kind of work together. And,
don't work together, they work.
yeah, they work.
Really water issues.
Yeah, we're looking at all of it, but there are a few places we actually might be able to do something about. Maybe it won't cost a lot of money. All right, any other questions?
I do want to make one point clear that the BIS committee has, changed their schedule for their regular monthly meetings, to the Thursday after the Board of Commissioners meeting. So in some cases, it might still be the same, but in some cases, it might be a week earlier. So just know now that the BIS will meet on the Thursday right after the Board of Commissioners meeting every month.
Okay.
All right, thank you. The update on public safety, Nancy or Don want to do that, or you want me?
I can do it.
Yeah, just.
John takes all the notes. Let him do it.
Yeah, we, get the exact dates, but we met, Friday, I guess Friday last week, yeah. With Thomas to just get an update on the construction, progress. And the first thing we talked about was, how are you doing against the $9.6 million budget that you've been given? And, again, as we have done in each meeting, stress that hitting that figure is extremely important. They kind of, were cautious about how they answered that question. His statement was, we're very, very close. They've done as much as they can do on the costing issue. And all he will say is we're very, very close, but he wouldn't say if they were close over or close under. You know, we clearly gave them the message that, that they gotta hit that 9.6. So I think that was the big thing there. The other big issue that we talked about was a request that came to the town from all of the Topsail staff, to, try to make the right of ways around the construction area, which you can anticipate will be full of construction worker trucks and junk that that they're gonna install in the building and stuff. That, when you look at any house they're building here, and you have to fight your way around the construction trucks. So that's a big concern, coming into building this building, because the construction trucks are gonna want to park from Anderson, they're gonna want to park from Carolina, they're gonna be all over the place. And there'll be a lot of workers for this. So we had quite a discussion about that. At the end, I guess we got around to talking about, can we do something to alleviate the traffic and parking problem around the construction site during they will start, maybe as early as July. We're gonna start seeing stuff show up here. And, the construction will run all the way through the winter until I think, we're talking about getting done in June. So it's gonna be almost a year that we have a lot of hassle around the public safety building. So we talked about that a good bit. And, one of the, things that, we arrived at is, being desirable. If, it's gonna cost some money, but the town, I think most of you probably know, we own the two wooded lots that are immediately north of the tower, the water tower across the street here. We bought those several years ago when they were available and we were looking for a place to build a new firehouse. Well, then the Brain lots became available and so we bought those and we're gonna build on them the new firehouse. But we haven't really defined anything to do with these two lots. So they're sitting over there and we talked about selling them and, the other thing we talked about is clearing them out and using them as a parking lot. And, we just haven't gotten around to doing that, but now that looks like would be something that could be a big help if we went ahead and cleared the lots, across the street and, gravelled them in and got that done before the construction, picks up. So that would mean we'd be doing that in the next, few months. So that's being talked about. There's no decision there yet.
We could be making a decision on that as soon as we get some cost information and so on. So that's up in the air. I guess the other thing we tried to make sure that Thomas understands is that, there's gonna be a huge traffic problem, during the week of August for Topsail. Could you make sure there's no work going on, certainly on Saturday and Sunday, and we'd like not to have them working on Friday. We told them that. And then, we also talked about the advanced work that will be going on, here's Steve Gordon. I'm talking about what might happen with the parking lot. We talked about, can we probably stay away from certainly where we're gonna be laying out vendor tents and stuff like that to be outside the fence line for the construction, but they need to be aware that there's gonna be a lot of activity that week. So we stressed that to them, and the guy who is responsible for logistics said, yes, he understands that, and he's gonna try and make sure. So I think those are the main things we got at was the construction stuff and having to hit the budget. We didn't talk anything at all, hardly, about the design of the building and the appearance of the building and so on. It was all kind of the logistics around hitting the price and figuring out how to deal with the traffic and so on.
And they did say that they will have a chain link fence, around the property line, and they will put a windscreen up there, and asked could they put their advertisement. We said, great, put a rendering of the building, so people out with Topsail will be able to see it. And the other thing is, they need up to 30 parking spaces for their workers, and we don't have that space. And so in looking at it, going ahead and providing that across the street, in my mind, is the thought would be after construction is complete, that could be converted to paid parking. So it would alleviate some of our parking problems should we choose. But we don't have anywhere to accommodate their workers.
Could we not use the Historical Society parking lot? Portion of that?
I doubt they're gonna want us taking 30 of their spots every day, Monday through Friday.
They don't want to do that, but they want us to stop work for a week.
They did not ask that we stop work. They asked to have the right of ways clear and, for us to do whatever we can to make space available. But they didn't ask us to stop work.
Well, what you said, you don't stop work, though.
No, we were telling them, giving them a heads up on tents will be set up on the right of way, because they will not be using the right of way. And the massive problems that they will have with traffic, because the vendors will start arriving on Friday. They weren't gonna work Saturday anyhow.
But somebody was saying that when your things on Tuesday, they start setting up on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that you will essentially say.
No, just telling them there will be a lot of activity out there, beware. John was explaining to them, they didn't know anything about Olive Topsail, so we told them what it was, how many people came. But he was telling about when the activity out there will ramp up. To my knowledge, nobody's asked that they not have construction that whole week. They can't have it on Saturday because their workers wouldn't be able to get here.
I don't think they would try, even on Friday, to get their workers here because the traffic will just be impossible. Certainly on Saturday. So we haven't told them that they can't work, so we've clearly told them they have to have the right of ways clear. So that, the space that we're used to using, around in the right of ways where vendors set up tents and there's other, people enter off the flake. And, we told them the flake's gonna be closed. So they understand and it's up to all of the council to, figure out, how they're gonna deal with the fact that, the construction will be a problem. And they need to be aware of it. And they, all of the Topsail has asked us to do the right of way clearing and whatever else we might be able to do, but, we have not told them to stop construction. They can figure out that they better stop it.
Yeah, and I did receive a note from, Thomas Construction confirming that they've already built in their schedule to cease construction for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and even Thursday, if they felt like they needed to do so for traffic impacts and things.
Okay, good. So we'll continue to talk with Thomas, because, I mean, that was a very, positive and open conversation that we had last week, I think.
Yes, and the end of the note does say they're happy to accommodate, whatever we need for them to do. They've been very agreeable.
So, and I think that we talked, will hopefully in the next, weeks, get, a cost quote for, improving the lot over there and, bring it back to the board here, maybe at the February meeting, we'll go ahead with this parking lot. Is that, what you're thinking, Christine?
That's 12A. 12A.
Oh, okay.
Follow up.
Oh, we can take that off now.
Yeah. Well, the other issue is that I think, next week we'll have our follow-up meeting where I think the true test in the pudding is going to be, where they bring in some, cost estimates, and these cost estimates are firm to the point where they're using the DD drawings, which are pretty intense, and complete. And so, the only thing left now is permitting. So once those numbers are in, we'll know what the final product's gonna look like. We'll schedule a meeting directly with the board and the public. Let's go over these plans so that all of you are aware of exactly what we're doing and how much it's gonna cost. And I think that's, again, we'll have input that, I think will be beneficial to everyone. And hopefully have a schedule so that each of you will know how to plan your next couple of summers. I guess just one summer, I hope, and, for the foreseeable future. So, any other questions for the bill?
If we want to see what's going on, shouldn't we come down and talk to them?
But,
The plans.
yes, the plans have been,
Yeah.
on the
So if we
table.
want to come see if they got more than that been involved, we can.
We'll go to 12A, that's the tower lots, and I think John was discussing, that as to a need for parking. And, yes, it's a need for parking downtown, and things are gonna change. I think each year we're seeing our parking demand, growing each year, and it's gonna be growing again. And so we have to look at how do we deal with that area or in the parking. We'd like to funnel a lot of parking downtown. It will both benefit the businesses and, let us have a little more control over the more congested areas. So we have those two lots, and I think our initial layout was about maybe 20 spaces. So we can't fulfill the whole obligation that's needed for the parking demand. So again, maybe the Historic Society would help us with parking over there for during the peak times of construction when we might have 30 or 40 cars needed. So that's still available. So I guess the question for this board is, do we want to move forward with looking at those two lots for possible parking? One for the building. The other is for the state parking in the future. So kind of need a direction here for us to instruct the staff to go.
Make a motion that we explore the cost to gravel those lots and lay out how many parking spaces we can get and look at the cost benefit of turning those into paid parking.
Second.
I have a motion second.
What are ordinances and stuff? What ordinances do we have on that property? As far as what can be used for?
I did speak with Stephanie earlier today just to confirm that there were no issues with that, and it is zoned for that, for parking. There would be no issues with putting parking there. It would be within our ordinance, our right.
I do think we need to make sure in the overall layout that we add an adequate buffer adjacent to the prune property
Sure.
from fairness from both sides.
And I did have some preliminary discussion as well with, Tom Hedrick as far as, this is something that I believe we can do, in-house, so we wouldn't have to contract this out. So I think it can be done at a decent cost and a timely fashion.
Would the costs come out of the building fund or would they come out of the general fund? Or do we know?
We hadn't gotten that far yet.
This is not connected to building.
It would not come out of the building.
This is-
I can answer that. It will not come out.
He said it will not come out of the building fund.
The guardian.
That's that.
Guardian of the whole galaxy.
That buffalo's getting a little thin. So,
I think it's a no-brainer to consider it for short-term and long-term.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
I-
Got the, okay, move forward. Tom, you gonna have fun with it. Get yourself and stuff. All right, now, discuss, consider and vote on memorandum of understanding and resolution 2026-001, NC local government debt set-off program.
Okay, what that is, Mr. Mayor and Board, is that we are trying to, partner with the league. In order to do that, we have to have a memorandum of understanding and also adopt a resolution tonight if the board so chooses. Is no charge for this program. What the program is set up for is for any, it could be utilities, but we really probably would not be using it for that. But the main thing is we have some personal property taxes, and real if we had that, but we always go, if we have any real estate that we have to make sure people pay, we go through an attorney agreement on that. We have someone that helps us with that. But the personal property, we usually, it's usually minimal, but again, it's a way of going ahead and trying to collect some extra revenue, and it would stay on the books forever as far as being the partner with the league and taking care of that. So we asked the board if they would be in favor of us being able to do that tonight, and to please adopt the memorandum of understanding and the resolution. And this is for general statutes, of the 105A-2-6.
Well, Connie, they charge a $15 fee for collection, correct? Did they charge
That would go on the, yes, ma'am. That
did
would
they
be-
charge us or would they
No,
charge?
they
the
do not
person who
charge,
does
there's,
the
the
money?
town would pay nothing.
Okay,
The town would not pay anything, but they would, and when they, go after the people that need to pay these things, they do have some kind of fee, but that's all figured in on their side, and it has nothing to do with the town. We just get the money that's owed us for our taxes.
Which based on your percentage is very little.
It is, but we do have some personal property people, have a boat or two, don't think they're going to need to give us any tax money. Anyway, and all joking aside, we would like to go ahead and proceed with this if the board is interested.
make a motion, we accept the memorandum of understanding, and pass the resolution.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Question?
Like a no-brainer.
It does. It does not. Okay, let's have a vote. All in favor? It passes.
Thank you very much.
Sure. The next is, discuss, consider, and vote on the creation of the Sons of Sea Partnership.
Yes. So this is a new program, for some of you that's been on the board for a while. You might remember the, traditional four-town meetings that we had. It was a culmination of the towns of Holly Ridge, North Topsail Beach, Surf City, and Topsail Beach. We would get together quarterly. That would be the, board members as well as some of the key, staff that would go along. And it would just, that's basically be an update. It would be a meal, sometimes a speaker and an update. Those meetings have been taking place for many, many years, as far back as at least 2004. When I would say in the last 2 years, it was sort of decided that the meetings weren't very beneficial. They didn't seem to have a lot of substance in them, so they sort of just died out. The town managers for those 4 towns still get together regularly, and we started discussing the, importance of having communication between the boards and the towns. So, realizing that we needed to make them more beneficial, we brainstormed and we came up with a partnership called Sound to Sea Partnership. And basically, this is going to be a meeting of the town managers and one designated person from the board member to meet on whatever regular schedule is adopted, to discuss, key items that affect the entire area. Things like traffic, that's always fun. Even stormwater, things like the Vitex program where we're at now, working together as an island. So that's kind of what this was, the thought process. In your package, you'll see that we came up with somewhat of a framework outline. It is a draft only, to be probably more dialed in if this board decides to move forward and be a part of this Sound to Sea partnership. And so if you would like to move forward with the Sound to Sea partnership, we would just ask that you designate myself as the town manager and one board member to be a part of that. That board member would then bring back any information from those meetings to the rest of the board. And of course, there would be no votes made during these meetings. It would be bringing it back to each board, and each board would then decide to vote, that way. I do want to point out that currently Surf City has already agreed to be a part of it and appointed a councilman. Same for Holly Ridge, which was just last night. And unfortunately, North Topsail Beach at this point has decided not to move forward with it, although they still stress that they want to maintain communication with the other towns.
I make a motion regardless of North Topsail. This is again a no-brainer, is we need to be collaborating with them, and we need to get on top of addressing what we can do about the traffic now. Because Memorial Day is still gonna come the same time every year. So I'd make a motion that we move forward and join this.
Tell me that those meetings used to be good. I mean, they were, well, they were, it was just getting to meet to meet other people from other towns and find out some of the things that were going on. But it was, not. But like I said, one time you may have 10 people there, and the next time you may have 40 there. So it was all in all.
I'd say I'm not surprised to hear that North Topsail did not want to participate in this because from what I've heard, the whole, they've got a big mess at North Topsail in terms of running the town, the elections, caused a good bit of turnover, so they're probably just not ready to engage. But they are engaged with us through the Topsail Island Shoreline Protection Committee, where I've heard some of what I just said about the situation there. But there's a lot of reason to be coordinating with these other towns we're coordinating on water. There's been some activity just in the last week or two about some issues around water. We might need to coordinate on sewer. There's certainly a lot of cooperation on fire. We're not looking at necessarily joining, but our fire departments all work together for the good of the island. So there's a lot to benefit from this kind of communication on a regular basis, I think.
Any other discussion on it? There are two items to this. That one, we have to vote to join the agency of the group. The other is appoint the managers are given, and since we're joining, that's automatic. Then appoint a board member to go with the manager to the meeting. So we want to do it in one motion, or we want to do it in two?
Two seconds.
two separate. First off, it's been a motion, ready for a vote on joining the organization. So I have a vote, all in favor?
Yeah.
It passes, we're joined, now we need to, nominate and vote on a person to represent the board.
That got quiet.
I would volunteer to work with her.
You will? Yeah, yes, our board member.
We'll have the skirt team. I ain't wearing a skirt.
Okay.
I would be happy to be an alternate.
Okay, sure. Okay, so we have a motion with, well, we got two people that have been nominated, one an alternate, if rejected, and one member, or more.
Who could we go with the ones who have,
Take that as a motion. Those in a second, all in favor? Congratulations.
appreciate your volunteer for that, Nancy.
Traffic's a biggie.
Yeah.
I'm glad to get on that.
Thank you.
That lane added to the bridge.
The ferry,
Bridge thing.
yes.
Manager attorney report. Oh, Miranda, that's true. I'm sorry.
I snuck one in on there and I apologize for
Yeah.
sneaking it in last minute, but this was actually just adopted by the Holly Ridge Board at yesterday's meeting, so, but we have a memorandum of understanding between the town of Holly Ridge and the town of Topsail Beach, so that we can assist each other in inspection services. If they need a hand, we're happy to go over there and help them, as vice versa. They're happy to come over and help us. The board actually adopted the Holly Ridge Board adopted the memorandum of understanding with, no fees, there's no charges to this. It's just a mutual aid to help each other out. And I would like to say that, Holly Ridge has just been so wonderful in providing some inspection services for us lately, as we've not had an inspector for quite a while, and that's been a difficult position to fill. So just a big shout out to how much they have helped the town of Topsail Beach. Again, just because they've been there, they understand it. So I appreciate them very much. So I'm asking this board to go ahead and approve this agreement at no charge, and we can continue working with them until we can get a building inspector.
Good job.
Very well done.
What is the status on our building inspection? Do we have anybody, any applications at all?
We do have some applications at this point. We've received several applications, but at this point, I believe only one that meets the requirements for the position. So at this point, just one that meets. We have not conducted any interviews yet at this point with that person.
Save the money, Brenda.
Yes, that's our contract. They would save their money.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want anyone to think that we're dragging our feet on this for sure, but we certainly would like to have a little bit more of an applicant pool before we begin interviewing. We actually, staff just brainstormed this afternoon as far as where else can we publicize this ad? Who else can we get this ad in front of to maybe generate some more applications? Myself and Rose have actually signed up for a seminar that's going to help us, to get our ads out there and find the right recruitment process for us. So we are really truly doing all we can and hope it happens soon.
Okay. Preference of the board.
Make the motion, we approve this and move forward until we have a better alternative.
Second.
Well done.
We have a motion and second. Who made the second?
Done.
John did.
It was John.
All right. Vote all in favor?
Aye.
It passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're at the manager attorney report. Mr. Coggins, you want to go first?
Mr. Mayor, much of what I've been working on for closed session, I would have been able to have spoken at length regarding the appropriateness of a elected official serving on the Board of Adjustment. I think, Mr. Mayor, you are wise in deferring the discussion at the time where I could present it in an informative manner.
That is the report. You have anything to add?
Now, do you have any questions for me?
The status on our old dock down there. I know in April they were gonna.
They're gonna wait till they're busy season again.
26,
Well, as you see in the report for January 26th, no update was provided. I do have a contact. Apparently this contact, is sometimes in North Carolina, sometimes in other places. But I know that they had submitted, for permitting and they were waiting on, the federal consistency determination. Once that's done, they can move forward, with actually the bidding process. I have stressed many times about the timeline and the season.
Wasn't there some communication about they have to do underwater exploration or surveying before they take that out?
That's gonna be part of the bid process, it'll be in the bid specs, if you will.
Seems like unneeded work to me. Jerk them out, you know?
Yeah.
Been there for so long now, it's probably. People don't have it. Oh, boy. Any other?
I had a couple questions. The interest rates have dropped a little bit in the last 6 months. How's that impacting our building for the protecting fund? In terms of, I mean, we projected 9.5, 9.6. Are we still on track for that with the drop in interest rates?
We appear to be this month. We still are earning about 27, but as far as our budget number, we're going to still exceed that, even if it drops a little bit more, but so we seem to be holding our own right now.
The number you had in the budget showed cuts.
Yes, we've not spent anything out of the budget. I mean, we've used, you know, our interest.
That'll change.
Happen to have a piece of paper here. Currently, for the year, meaning starting with July to now, we have earned $636,095.40 in interest. We have expended $395,861.65 in expenses, and we have, but that's for the total. But just for July to June, we've expended the $202,387.25. We now have $8,240,233.75. So currently, we still have $240,233.75 before we go into the $8 million. As I said, we're currently earning about $27,000 each month for interest, and if we keep on that pattern as far as what our budgeted amount was, I'm talking, we will exceed a little bit over the 300 that we budgeted. So right now we're holding, and we have been very fortunate again to have interest to spend on what we've had to spend so far. So that's where we're at.
Thank you. Let me also thank Chief Sam for this 5-year police report. I got the numbers as you sent them out, but they're relative to this year. They don't talk about any trends. And I asked the chief if you would show us, because I heard there was some decline in criminal activity in the last year. And I don't know if you want to speak generally about this. This is much more than I really wanted, but I was just looking for a general trend.
And I promised Rochelle I'd keep us on our hours.
You're hurting your reputation.
Exactly. I'm not gonna read through this report. You all have a copy of the report, public. I left the stack there. If we run short, hit me up and I'll make you more copies. These numbers are phenomenal. These numbers, Connie, when you remember when you were the admin over there, we had numbers that were just staggering, years ago. I'm very proud of the guys for these numbers. And Rochelle, go ahead. So that's our warning. And again, if it's hard to read, there's packages over there, but that's our warning and state citations are down, which follows when you see the other numbers. There's our crime stats, and I picked a few different categories: assaults, B&Es, disturbance calls, larcenies, property damage, traffic accidents, arrest, state citations. What I noticed with this is there was a trend that we're trending downward, but then there was an uptick in 2024. The only explanation I can think of is that we were the only last to offer free parking, because the numbers before that were steadily going down. Go ahead, Michelle. Assaults are down. We had none last year. Prior to this report, we'd have 2 or 3 a week. So these numbers are phenomenal. B&Es are down. We had 1 in 2025. Connie, you remember, we had 40 or 50 a year. This is been really surprising. Disturbances are down. We had less than 10 last year, down from 30 in 2021. Larcenies went up a little bit in 2024. We're trending downward now in 2025. Property damage again was another thing that went up in 2024. Now it's going back down to where we want to see it. Keep in mind, these numbers are so low. One additional incident raised to 33. Traffic accidents, unfortunately, are going up. We see more and more traffic. And arrests have gone down. Again, we can't arrest people for doing something they didn't do. But and if you wonder, after all this, what are the officers doing at the time? In the back of the packet, there's more detailed information on how they're actually spending their time. Thousands and thousands of business checks, welfare checks, alarm calls, helping EMS, their parking complaint. That's one number that's unfortunately going up. So in 2021, we had 112 parking complaints. Last year, we had 385. And that's us. That doesn't include whatever auto responded to. So that's the number that's definitely going to continue to go up. So it's something that we have to deal with eventually. Any questions for anybody?
Well, these numbers are presume a static population, and obviously we're not static. We're growing in terms of year-round people, but also visitors. So in light of that, the trends are even less. They would expect to go up some with increased populations. So I think that's very impressive.
I mean, I think there's something to say. There's value when you pay for parking. You pay for you own the value and respect people. It's more. I'm trying to pitch that, but it's just, I think it made a big difference. Just my own empirical observations with some of the problems that we used to have were minimal.
Yeah, I think it's also your presence. My neighbor travels a lot as a forensics engineer. So he goes to a lot of different places, fields on the ET sometimes, but he says when he crosses that line, he sees at least 3 officers before he hits home. He says he's happy. So,
I'm very proud of the officers. I have a great department, and I know it said Sam on the front of the report, but that's it. So those guys have done a wonderful job, and I'm proud of them, and everybody else should be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
We jumped around a little bit. Any other questions back to the manager before we move on? Tom, we got yours. Your report. Thank you. Well, there's a lot to keep up with. And the fire hydrants, we did a couple of them there.
Yeah, we completed 5, so of the 10 so far, so definitely ahead of schedule from last year, so.
I saw the ones they were doing, Surf City was doing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to work where they were. But they had a pretty deep hole. I'm glad you're willing to also take on the lots. I think that's something that we've not had that ability.
Yeah.
And I think we have those things coming that we may look at in-house activities to help us save money in that long run. So look forward to that as well.
I'd make one suggestion on your water report, average daily use water usage by month. Just maybe have the last column in each month be the average over the last 3 years, 5 years or something, so we can see if there's a trend up or down. It's a little hard to, part of it's hard to follow because we have such big usage in the summer. So it's really more important to understand, like, each month is it a lot more, a lot less. I don't know if you can do that. It's pretty simple, I think, in Excel.
But first one. I do appreciate it. And, it's good to know that y'all, you gotta keep up with some of this stuff. So I don't think many people know that the training and all that has to go into your organization. And to just keep your certifications up and to keep us protected. And also our equipment. I think we're starting to understand this. You've got some expensive toys. Yes, sir. And we need to make sure they're maintained completely. So that's good. So, any questions for us or Tom?
I'd just like to mention that the south end parking lot, as a reminder, will be closed the next 2 days for repairs and maintenance. We finished up the marina, regrading and putting the rock down in that parking lot, and we're doing the south end Thursday and Friday. So
How's that piece of equipment working?
phenomenal.
When will the sign come back for Bush Marina? Does it take a couple weeks?
Yeah, I think they said about a month probably.
Take this time for any of the council or town commissioners who want to change the way staff is reporting these reports.
No, I think it's great.
Good.
And I love having that rather than the dramatic reading.
Yes. That's what I'm talking.
Improvement.
This is 2 in a row. We'll be out before 7:30.
Not out yet.
Public comment, there we go.
Don't know what we're talking about. The staff has given us written reports from every department that are very specific and concise, which is the first time we've ever had good reporting like that. So it's, I mean, I noticed it, and then obviously the others did too.
But those reports are in the packet as well. So.
Yeah, they're on the website, so you can look at what we see.
So let's go to public comments. Can you hear me?
You're looking at me, and I would get up and say something about what the gentleman at the beginning said, but I'm not going to. I think that.
You got it.
Yeah.
He could.
Take the high road.
I assume Betsy for coming to this.
We hadn't even had to use the timer.
You're following that. Mayor and commission reports. John Dez, let's start with you.
All I can say is I'm excited about our re-engagement with our island neighbors. I think that will pay dividends for years to come.
You're right.
Excited for your new responsibilities.
You don't know what they're in for.
Alex, you're
I just wanted to publicly thank everybody for coming in online, but also to thank Christina and Connie for helping me get up to speed on a number of issues in the last month. And then one other thing, I had a resident ask, notice that there were no cars at the EMS building during the holidays, and they wondered if we even had EMS coverage. So I went to the EMS building and asked the person on duty, and they said that during the holidays, there was staffing shortages apparently, and they did not have a person at that building for a few days or whatever. And I noticed it myself, but most of the time there is a vehicle or two there. When that occurs though, the next closest EMS is across the bridge near Gilligan's. So it's pretty far away. But they said, and we don't have a paramedic or narcotics here. We only have regular EMTs and that do basic and intermediate. So the closest paramedic is in that station across the bridge, according to that person. So for those of you who are curious about that.
Well, I just want to say, welcome to politics. As I've learned watching the news, if you say somebody said something, it's automatically true. And as the mayor nudged me and pointed out, I need to sit up here and suck it up. I hate Mr. Grossman, my friend, left, because I'd like to say my honesty and integrity and my ethics are very important to me. They always have been. My dad used to say, don't go out and do anything that violates our name. We've had a good name for years. Don't be the one to screw it up. So I defer to Attorney Coggins, as I did last summer, on whether or not I need to be on the Board of Adjustments. I'm agnostic. I will do whatever he tells me to do. But I will say, I wouldn't be a commissioner if my choice was to always agree, and John Gunner's already indicated, I stand for what's right. And I would never have joined a committee if I went in with a bias. And once again, there are two people in the meeting, so we will leave it at that. I also want to tell people that I found out that the post office quit forwarding a lot of people's mail who went from the post office box to a street box. I thought I just was unpopular because I got no Christmas cards, and then found out in early December, I got no mail for a month. And then he realized when somebody sent an email and said, your card got returned, addressee unknown, no forwarding address. And I just was wondering if you're still alive. So if you switch from a box and you haven't got much mail, you might want to call the Holly Ridge Post Office. They were supposed to be forwarding for 12 months, but apparently they dropped them after 3. That's it.
John?
Well, couldn't tell, I got a lot of energy around the public safety building, project. So I'm excited about that. It's progressing very well. And, we're gonna have a really nice facility there that we will get for $9.6 million in no more. So, continue to look forward to that. And, otherwise, that's it. Now, Steve Gordon, I would like to talk to you for a minute after this is over.
Okay, appreciate everyone coming out, and we've got the January 27th and 29th. You guys don't have anything to do during the day, we're gonna have long budget meetings. 8 o'clock, going to 4 o'clock. Y'all are welcome to come if you wanna find out what we'll be spending money on. Thank you for coming out.
I'll end up, again, thanks for everyone that came tonight and viewed in. I think 26 is gonna be an exciting year for us. I've got a lot of things on the plate. The building is gonna be the highlight. It's gonna keep everyone fairly busy and twisted as to what's going on, where we are, and how much is it gonna be. So I think that's something we gotta strive on our end to make sure that we keep you informed. And, if ever there's a question, always ask, and not just wait for Facebook to tell you. Please don't do that. We're excited for the south end, maybe coming into the state property. I think that's working its way through the system. So that's another item that's gonna be exciting for the town. I think the budget meetings are, they're gonna be informative. I think the first couple are somewhat broad stroke to have you look at where we wanna be. We're gonna be looking at goals and policies as to where we think the town should be now and in the short future and long future. And then looking at what policies are needed to get us there. And, I think that's important for us to, structure a budget around that. So please come get involved. So thank you all for coming and let's look forward to 26. I have a motion. I have a motion, second, all in favor? Adjourned.
Aye.
I just reminded them.